let us continue our discussion on binary relations. And relations are sets. In particular, it is a subset of a cross product. And we also looked at a couple of special properties like reflexivity, symmetricity, antisymmetric, and so on. And we shall continue our discussion and define some more special properties on relations. Relations, largely we come across relations in the context of database management systems. For example, if you look at a table and containing, say, transactions or informations about students, say you say age, roll number, and say CGPA, name, order doesn't matter. Now, the values corresponding to transaction 1 or corresponding to a particular student is an entry in the underlying relation. Similarly, the values corresponding to this is an entry in the underlying set. And age cross roll number cross CGPA cross name, that is precisely an entry in cross product. So all possible values for age, roll number, CGPA, name, you will see them in cross product. A particular transaction, meaning information about computer science department, information about EC department, information about EC department, say third year students. Those are all example relations. And relations can be modeled as a graph. So there is one-to-one connection between relations and graph models, which we shall see next. So we shall define some more properties of relations. So the first one being equivalence relation. So when do you say a binary relation is an equivalence relation? So R is an equivalence relation if R satisfies reflexivity, symmetricity, and transitivity. We also define something called partial order. They are also known as posets. So R is a partial order if R satisfies reflexivity, antisymmetric, and transitive. So far we have seen relations satisfying atomic properties like reflexivity, symmetricity, and so on. Now we are defining two special relations. They satisfy more than one property. We say R is an equivalence relation if it satisfies RST, reflexivity, symmetricity, and transitivity. R is a partial order if it satisfies RAT, reflexivity, antisymmetric, and transitive. So we shall look at a couple of relations which are equivalence relation, partial order, and some interesting insights about that. And having counted reflexive relations, symmetric relations, can we also count a number of equivalence relations? Can we also count number of partial orders? And these are all some interesting combinatorial questions or counting questions in the context of binary relations. Consider this set and relation R1 as 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. R2 is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2. R3 is A cross A. R4 is an empty set. R5 is 1 1 2 2 3 3 1 2 2 1. Now let's verify whether these relations are equivalence relation on one side, and on the other side are they partial orders as well. For each A in A comma A is present, so reflexivity is true, and symmetricity A comma B belongs to A implies B comma A belongs to A. AB BC implies AC, so this one has equivalence relation. Now R2, you see that it is reflexive, but it is not symmetric. 1 2 is present, 2 1 is absent, therefore it is not an equivalence relation. A cross A, it is reflexive, and if you find AB, BA will also be present, because this one is a universal relation. All possible pairs are present. AB, BC implies AC, because it's a universal relation, we will find, therefore it's an equivalence relation. Empty set, it is not reflexive, therefore it is not an equivalence relation. This one is reflexive, symmetric, transitive. 1 2 2 1 gives you 1 1, 2 1 1 2 gives you 2 2. It is transitive, therefore it is an equivalence relation. Let's look at reflexive, antisymmetric, transitive, partial order. It is reflexive, it is transitive, antisymmetric. You find that if you get AB and BA in R, then you should also find the relation A equals B. If AB and BA both are present, implies that A equals B, which is true in this case, so it is also a partial order. And this one, you see that it is reflexive, AB is present. The question says AB is present and BA, then A equals B. So there is no BA here, so it is antisymmetric, it is transitive, therefore it is a partial order. A cross A, you find AB and BA, but A and B are not same. It is not antisymmetric, therefore it is not a partial order. Empty set, it is not reflexive, therefore it is not partial order. In this you see that both AB and BA are present, but 1 not equals 2, so it is not antisymmetric, therefore it is not a partial order. Okay, so this is also telling you something interesting. When you get this relation 1 1 2 2 3 3, in general 4 4, so on up to n comma n, and there are no other pairs, you see that it is an equivalence relation and it is also a partial order. And in all of this, it is either an equivalence relation or a partial order, but not both. So apart from this, if you find just AB and BA is not present, okay, then it is antisymmetric, it is not symmetric, so it will not be an equivalence relation. But you find both AB and BA, it is symmetric, but you know that A and B are different, so it is not antisymmetric, therefore it is not a partial order. So in some sense it tells you that if a relation contains pairs where A and B are same, such a relation satisfies both equivalence property as well as partial order property. Okay. And how many such relations are there? It is exactly one. This is the only relation which is both an equivalence relation and a partial order. So given a set on n elements, you are asked to count the number of relations which are both equivalence relation and partial order. Okay, you are asked to count number of relations satisfying these two properties. How many are there? It is exactly one. Such a relation is 1, 1, 2, 2, so on up to n comma n if the underlying set has got n elements. Fine. And every other relation, if you look at it, you either find AB, because of that symmetricity is lost, or you find AB and BA, because of that antisymmetric relation is lost. Let us continue our discussion on equivalence relation. Suppose we are given two relations, R1 and R2, both are equivalence relation. Now we ask, is R1 union R2 an equivalence relation? And how about R1 intersection R2? In fact, you can ask other set theoretic properties, R1 minus R2 and R1 complement. So the idea is this: relation is a set. Now you have two sets, apply set theoretic operation, and given two sets satisfy property P, in this case it is an equivalence relation, does the union, intersection, set minus, complement satisfy the underlying property? That's all. And set could be anything and property could be anything. That's all. In our context, the set is binary relation. Property that we talk about as equivalence property. Let's attempt a proof. There are various proof techniques which we come across as part of this course. One is direct proof. The other one is indirect proof or proof by contradiction. And third one is mathematical induction. Then proof based on PHP, Pigeon Hole principle. Then we come across Pi, principle of inclusion exclusion. So when we come across an appropriate case study, we will look at each one in detail. Now we will be using direct proof to prove this. In case it is not true, then we establish a counterexample. Okay. When we looked at first order logic and when we were trying to prove an argument is valid or not, we followed direct proof. We converted a predicate logic into a propositional logic, then used well-known implications, equivalences, which we have already proved to be a tautology in the process of simplification, and finally to check whether so-and-so argument follows logically or not. That's an example of direct proof. Let's look at R1 union R2 first. So to say that R1 union R2 is an equivalence relation, we need to prove that it is reflexive symmetric and transitive. We are given the fact that R1 is reflexive and R2 is reflexive, which means for all A belongs to A comma A belongs to R1 and A comma A belongs to R2. This implies that A comma A belongs to R1 union R2. We are also given that R1 and R2 are symmetric, which means for all A comma B belongs to A, if A comma B belongs to R1 implies that B comma A belongs to R1. On the similar line, A comma B belongs to R2 implies that B comma A belongs to R2. So now what is that we need to show? We need to show that R1 union R2 is symmetric. So to show that R1 union R2 is symmetric, what are we supposed to show? If A comma B belongs to R1 union R2, then we need to show that R1 B comma A belongs to R1 union R2. Definition says if AB is present in R1, then BA is present in R1. And to show that R1 union R2 is symmetric, we need to show that if AB belongs to R1 union R2, we need to show that BA belongs to R1 union R2. And AB belongs to R1 union R2, which means what? A comma B belongs to R1 or A comma B belongs to R2. It is union. We don't know whether it comes from R1 or R2 or A comma B is present in both. We are only including